Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of Kiwi Bike Browser. Let's kick into it tonight. Total listings today being the 7th of January 2024, 8,161. It's a drop off of about 300 compared to last episode, so things are definitely slowing down on the market on TradeMe, just ever so slightly. Kicking off the top of the list, a Honda CB500X 2023, well regarded as a good all-round ADV model. Quite surprising to see such a new bike on the market, but this is what some people do. Some people buy a bike brand new from the dealership and they go, it's actually not quite for me. But I'm always interested in these ones, usually because they put a reason down, and sometimes you get lucky and they tell you why they don't like the bike. Anyway, this seems to be a nice model. I actually quite like the colour. I like that Moto Guzzi-esque kind of colour flare to it, very similar to the V100. Although you're getting a very baby version of the V100 with a 500cc parallel twin. But these bikes, even though they're manufactured in Thailand, still represent good Honda build quality. The parallel twin engines are actually regarded as one of the most fuel efficient learner bikes out there in regards to the capacity. I don't really know too much else beyond that other than they're quite a good all-round bike, and they are just... I guess to me this would be a good competitor to the V-Strom, although being less power because it's LAMS approved, right? So anyway, we got 10 grand, excuse me, no reserve set for that. Buy now of 11,900. Yeah, seems about right. I mean, I'd prefer if there were a few more accessories there, but that's fine. It's not as good of a deal as that CBCN 50 that we saw last week. But kicking into it, never dropped, no scratches, well maintained. Bought the bike back in June, yep. First service, still on warranty, original windshield and sports windshield, cool. Great bike for short to medium trips, very economical, yep, that's like I was saying before. Selling it only because I need to buy a car. Well, I'm sorry, very sorry to hear that, my friend. But that one's down in Queenstown. Yeah, not bad. I mean, if you're looking for a CB500, why not? Plus throw in not a free one, but throw in a flight for Queenstown for yourself, and you got yourself a nice wee treat on top of owning a bike. We scoot dirt. Oh, pretty old classic BSA. BSA, of course, standing for Birmingham Small Arms. Started off as an arms manufacturer. They manufacture motorcycles. Fancy that. Don't really know too much about these older bikes. This one definitely looks like a restoration project on the go. Nice bunch of parts there. Pretty decent asking price. Anyway, yeah, project bike down in Christchurch. I mean, heck, if you're a fan of British bikes, go for it. I mean, that could dust up really well, honestly. It's the makings of a really good looking bike once it's all painted and fitted together. It's actually not too bad condition either. It's had a bit of work done. Anyway, moving on. We have a mobility scooter here. Okay. Honda CB750. 1975. That is actually... Wow, look at the condition of this thing. Even the fork covers just look mint. Nice bits of chrome everywhere. This is definitely a period accurate bike. Fantastic. Oh, I love that design. A little bit of surface rust, but to be expected with very old motorcycles such as this one. Kickstart on a 750 inline 4. Okay. Oh man, that's awesome. Look at the back of that thing. I really like the way that those exhaust pipes are just beautifully symmetrical, and they have this very Bofors gun sort of look to it. Not a Bofors. You know those 4-barreled anti-aircraft gun from World War II? Let's find a picture. What have we got? I'm not talking about a flat cannon. I'm talking about those ones. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Something like that. We've just got all 4 barrels sticking out at the same time. You know, less the trumpet flare on it, but it's giving me that kind of vibe. Not a bad bike. Let's learn a bit more about this one. So Hamilton. Okay, cool. Great bike. Twin discs. Oh, okay, nice. In the 5 years I've owned this bike, I've had fitted a new seat, new exhaust, and front guard, as well as many other smaller parts. Non-standard K2 paint job. Goes and handles well. There you go. I mean, 12 grand if you're looking for a classic bike and you want to claim on that cheap rego, why not give that one a bit of an inspection? Oh, the Honda X11, the naked version of the Honda Blackbird, being the competitive rival to the Suzuki Hayabusa. So a very quick motorcycle, very fast. I've seen a Honda X11 that had this beautiful chromed frame, like a brushed aluminium look to it, and it just looked magnificent. It really, really stood out, and it had a bright red paint job as well on the tank. I haven't seen that one in a while, but the only, apart from the engine, the only thing that looks pretty much identical on the oh, that's a beautiful shot. The only thing that looks pretty much identical on an X11 to the Blackbird, and it's going to be quite hard because there isn't a rear shot of it, but it's the exhaust pipes, right? So if you look at the back of the X11, you can just see these little perforations, these little holes, 6 holes. You'll find the exact same on the back of the Honda Blackbird. In fact, let's look for one now. Just remember my place there. Blackbird. There we go. So there's a Blackbird, CBR 1100X, and there it is, exact same exhaust pipe. So that's roughly how you can tell if you get a little bit confused. And what is an X11? Just remind yourself, an X11 is actually a CBR 1100X, but naked. And the Blackbird was Honda's answer to the Suzuki Hayabusa. It's a very fast motorcycle, built for speed, quite heavy, good tourer. Although I don't know what a naked model would really serve, except for just being a really fun bike. Getting back to it now. But hey, I do like the look of these bikes. They are big, muscly sports bikes, And hey, I mean, this one is actually a really good price. Check this thing out. It is starting bid 5,499, buy now 6,750. The amount of Ks, 30,000 Ks on a 1999 bike. I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know about this 100 horsepower one, because I swear that it should be more than that, because I thought they were rippingly powerful, same as a Hayabusa in the day, but who knows, I could be wrong. 0 to 100 2.9, yep. Top speed, I think, of these things was definitely over 300 Ks an hour. Top speed 257. Oh, I swear the Blackbird was actually quicker than that. So, Blackbird top speed Honda. See, this one says 285 Ks an hour for the CBR 1100 XX. But the X11, maybe it's a little bit more detuned. Yeah, top speed 160 miles per hour. Yeah, I mean, contradictory to what the seller is saying, but I never know. Maybe get the bike yourself and find out and let me know. In any case, not a bad looking bike, good price, up in Auckland, Mount Eden area. Yeah, definitely worth checking out that one for sure. If you want a big, muscly sports bike that can, plenty of speed, definitely worth checking out, eh? Big fan. Moving on down. Oh, baby girl. These MV Agustas have been popping up lately, and it has been tickling my fancy. My favourite part of MV Agusta's design is the rear. This little section down here. Just this subtle, it is just so absolutely gorgeous. These church organ style pipes with the ever so slight curvature on them. At the right angle, they sort of line up to the wheel as well. And they just, it is such a masterstroke of exhaust design. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of like underslung exhaust or these style of exhausts, but this to me is my favorite looking exhaust system on any motorcycle. The F4 is kind of cool. I quite like the space rocket style of the CBR 600, but this to me is the most elegant, richest, most beautiful looking exhaust pipe ever fitted to a motorcycle. And MV Agusta continue to push the mark when it comes to making amazingly gorgeous bikes. Someone said online recently that Ducati isn't the Ferrari of motorcycles, it's these guys, it's MV Agusta. And I can't help but maybe disagree to a bit with that. I believe MV Agusta is more like the Lamborghini of the motorcycling world, and Ducati being the Ferrari. They sell a lot more, they're a lot more widely known. They sell the brand, Ferrari sells the brand. It's just what they do, right? It's a marketing agency that happens to sell vehicles. Oh, is it missing a component there? Oh, it does appear to be missing a small side panel. Interesting. Or and some scuffs are along the left hand and right hand, left hand side. Yep. Interesting. Okay. I mean, it's a good looking bike. It's got a couple of scuffs though, hence why I think the asking price is quite low. Now, what I do hear about these things from a gentleman, can't remember his name, but he owns a cafe down in Wellington and he's just an absolute bike nut. Is it Dave? Dave Jung? I think it's Dave Jung. It's not Sarsaparilla Cafe, but it starts with an S. Anyway, we'll look it up later. I'll show it to you guys. So I talked to him about the MV Augustas, and because he owns some, and he said, don't go for the triples. The triples are unreliable, which breaks my heart because there's nothing I'd love more than a Brutal. Or an F3. I mean, a Brutal is definitely, I love the styling of the Brutals. Brutal? Yeah. But yeah, a cheap bike for the price. Middling Ks for an MV Agusta. Just something to be aware of. Do your research on this bike, particularly the engine, right? Before you jump into it. But this one's down in Christchurch. Well worth checking out. But I mean, if you want to purchase a piece of art, don't go buy something that hangs on the wall. Buy an MV Agusta. Anyway, moving on now. Skipping past the highly Hypermotard. Yeah, it's got low Ks. I mean, the Hypermotard's a great bike. So I've ridden a Hyperstrata. I don't know that the Hypermotard and Hyperstrata are drastically different in terms of their design and setup. I think that one was over, it was like an 803cc. Actually, what was a Hyperstrata? Hyperstrata is a 821. Yeah, so I've ridden this bike, right? Ducati Hyperstrata. It's more of like I guess a sports tourer version of the Ducati Hypermotard. But I mean, the trellis frame is, I can't quite pin because there's no, so it's a slightly different frame. Okay, might be a slightly different engine as well. It's just to my eye. But in any case, the bike rode okay, but it had this really weird thing going on. It was struggling to tip in initially, to tip into corners. I really had to fight the handlebars and kind of, throw a bit of weight into my arms. But once it tipped in, it rapidly got to like quite a high lean angle. And I was like, man, this is weird. And I went back to the shop and I went, I had this experience, and they said, oh, maybe the triple clamp is mounted a bit too low because it came from Japan. It was for a shorter rider and a few other bits and pieces, but who knows? I mean, I think that Hypermotard that I rode is still available somewhere in the country. And I'm going off topic from this one here, but oh, good, you posted a video. Just quickly looking at this one, good price, seems okay, worth checking out if you're after that more supermoto style of Ducati. But the one that I was looking for was here we go, this is the baby. So I test rode this motorcycle at New Zealand Motorcycle Importers in Upper Hutt, Middle Hutt, Wellington, around Trentham area, quite close to it. And yeah, that was the one that kind of handled the way that I mentioned to you about being a struggle to tip in, but then being fine there on. Not a bad bike, eh? There was something intoxicating about it. This was the bike that I test rode and I couldn't stop thinking about. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why this motorcycle captured so much of my attention and imagination. It's like meeting an amazing person and you keep thinking about them after you've had the encounter. You go, man, that person was great, or like that person was really interesting. This is that bike that lives in my imagination, lives in my head in that space. They have dropped the price recently, which is cool. Well worth checking out. I mean, it's a good touring bike. It was comfortable, sports tourer, comfortable. The seat was fantastic, worth taking a look at. But back on topic to recent motorcycles, to cap on the Hypermotard, it would probably be the same thing, just a fun bike. The only thing you're missing is a front windshield and some side panniers. That's it. Moving on now, a V-Strom, yep, pretty bog standard, 1000. It must have started off as a $1 reserve. The V-Strom 1000 is a good bike, and that's just it. But it's not. I rode the 650 V-Strom, and I've ridden the 800 DE. I haven't ridden the 1000, so I can't really comment on where this one fits and suits. But I know that the V-Strom wasn't for me, and I knew that the 800 DE wasn't for me. But what I'm curious about is the 800 RE, or on the New Zealand Suzuki site they're calling it the 800 RQ. That's going to come out into the market sometime early this year, I guess around about March. Anyway, 1000 cc's, 52,000 Ks, it's a nothing for this bike. Current bid, 903. Look at this, there is nothing wrong with this bike, so please don't ask silly questions. Fantastic. Purchase the bike for city commute, but it's a bit big for me. Hey, I agree. For me, that would be too big of a bike. Perfectly fine. Find a bike that fits you. It's like wearing clothes. It's got to fit you. You got to like it. You got to like the look. You got to like how it sits. You got to like how it feels. You got to be able to move in it. It's like clothing. Yeah, not bad. I mean, keep your eye on it. $903 currently. My guess, if you were to ask me, oh, Ruben, what do you think this will sell for? Look, it's getting into that middle hump of summer. The holidays are almost over. We're still in a, what do they call it? A cost of living crisis. Figure that I'm going to put on this is 4.7. Okay, 4.7. We'll see. See if I'm right, eh? I'll add it to the watch list, not because I'm actually interested in this bike, but see if I'm right. Right, moving on now. G6R 250. You mean an Inazuma? Yeah. These are the Chinese manufactured Suzukis. Not a huge fan. They didn't strike me as that remarkable. I do like the Suzuki B King style indicators on the body. Suzuki B King was actually a really cool looking bike. You know, I was talking about my favorite exhaust before. The B King fit that same category for me for some reason as well. It just had, I don't know what that is, but give me a stock B King. Come on, back end of a B King. Can't be hard. I don't know what I'm looking at here, but that's not it. That's not what I remember seeing. That looks ridiculous, and also super low resolution. GSR 600 B King, I think. Yeah, I might have mucked up my search term. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that looks a bit better. So, GSR 600. I thought this one was called the B King for some reason. I might have seen that a few times. But if you look at these body-mounted indicators, exactly the same as what you find in the Inazuma. Sorry, not exactly the same. Inspired by this bike. Now the exhaust on this one, really neat. If I can find a stock exhaust photo. I'm surprised there's not that many because it's one of the features of the bike that stands out to me. Here we go. No, it's got aftermarket cans on it. We'll go back to it some other time. You can look it up yourselves maybe even, and you might have more luck than I do. But the rear, the tail, oh here we go. Okay, so I'm pretty sure those are the stock exhausts. That to me, I love the look of that. It is so clean, and it looks like a little masked kind of creature looking out at you. You know, it's got this kind of robotic look to it. Tail lights obviously play that game, but yeah, I just like it. I think it's tidy, it's neat, and it fits the bike nicely. G6R 250, not really for me. Kawasaki W650, 2003. Modern classic bike, but this bike would really be struggling on the market, you know, if it was released today, compared to the Royal Enfields. You want a 650cc parallel tin classic motorcycle, you go get a Royal Enfield Continental GT or Interceptor. That's it, end of story, because it is an amazing motorcycle. It is value for money. You get a 3-year warranty off the cuff. It's remarkable, right? So I think this one is going to go a little bit unnoticed. Unfortunately, the Kawasaki W650 is going to become a little bit of a sleeper for a while until maybe it has a second life or a bit of a resurgence. Still a really good looking bike, but yeah, it's that period of time has been and gone, and a better product has come to market. I mean, look, this came out in 2003, okay? You can't blame it. But it's going up against some really hot competition. I don't feel like pricing it at a $10,000 buy now. I mean, $7,000 with no reserve, maybe. But I would be trying to compete with I mean, let's be honest, you've got a 21-year-old bike with 34,000 Ks on the clock, and it's priced around about the same price as what you could get a Royal Enfield Continental or Interceptor that's only a couple of years old with half the amount of Ks. So my advice to the seller here in Waitakere, Auckland is maybe be a little bit more realistic. Yes, you got a custom paint job. Yes, you got shortened guards. Yes, you got a mini headlight and vintage style indicators or whatever. But it's going up against some pretty tough competition in the market. There we go. Although, if you're willing to consider trade on classic vehicles, if you have a classic vehicle that you want to trade in, this person might be worth a contact if you're looking for a classic bike, classic style bike, I should say. Moving on now, G650 GS. Now, I can spot this one from a mile away. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a problem with how BMW named their motorcycles during this year. Just having a swig of rum. The F700 GS is not a 700cc motorcycle. The F800 GS is an 800cc motorcycle, along with the F700 motorcycle and the F650. The G650 GS is a single cylinder. How you can tell from a mile away is the twin exhausts. For some reason, the parallel twin has a single exhaust. The single cylinder bike has twin exhausts. I'll show you what I mean. Boom, spot it there. So twin exhausts, 1, 2, a bit of that. Good bike, by the way, and it is a single cylinder. Okay. Now, the good thing about this bike is that it is set up more for off-road, gravel tracks, dirt tracks, that sort of thing. Even though this one does have alloy wheels rather than spokes. The sort of front cradle in front of the engine is a strong point of the motorcycle compared to just a bash plate. They are reliable. It's a 650cc single-cylinder Rotax engine, I believe, is what lives in these things. And they go for a long time. They are LAMS approved as well. I'm fairly certain they're LAMS approved. So we were talking the other night about the Luna approved ADV bikes you can get on the market. I did a list, like a tier list, of what's going to be a competitor to the Royal Enfield Himalaya, the 450 when it comes out. Older bikes like this one didn't make the list because I was focusing on newer motorcycles. But if you got yourself a G650 GS, you're getting a really good bike and you're getting a really good deal. I'll show you what I mean. So, built from the ground up to be that very Dakar, well, you know the 650 Dakar BMW that put out for years and years and years. This is the successor to it, right, in terms of the spirit of the thing. Very similar to the heritage that you get with a V-Strom. The G650 GS has heritage that goes back a number of years, and this is just a continuation of that. Same as the KLRs, same as pretty much most of the adventure bikes that have been on the market for a long time. Strong bikes, reliable, LAMS approved, and you get that BMW build quality. And I mean, look at the price, $7,000 start. Unfortunately, it's not the reserve. I'd maybe be coming down a wee bit, 44,000 Ks. Yes, it's going to go for another 40,000, if not more. But still, you're kind of competing with bikes that are coming out new for $8,990 plus on-road costs for a brand new motorcycle with a 3-year warranty. Think about that. So just be realistic when you're putting this kind of bike on the market. Yes, this one's in Queenstown. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Now you've got a competitor to the CB500X. Fly down to Queenstown, have a nice weekend, buy a bike, ride it back home. Your choice of the G650 GS or the CB500X. Both LAMS approved if you're a learner rider. Go for it. Yeah, anyway, good bike, high price. Just be aware if you're looking for this kind of bike, look for the twin exhaust if you want the LAMS approved one. Right. Okay, lost my place. That's fine. I think we were just about there, actually. Although things have shifted around a wee bit because I didn't do my usual thing of keeping the tab open. R9T Urban, cool bike, but not for me. Really cool Umbrella. Nice, I'm not gonna lie, that's a really cool motorcycle. Yeah, I think we'll call it there for the night in terms of new bike listings. We'll do a quick maybe reload of the page and see what else has popped up in the last few minutes, just in case there's anything that no, there was definitely something else. Come on, tell the tale. There we go. Okay, no, just a few more. Here we go. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, cool. There's been a few more listings. Excellent. Let's take a quick peek at these two, and then we'll call it a night, right? Right, BMW R1100S. Tourer, first and foremost, Tourer. Big, heavy bike. Very good build quality, very reliable. Great looking bike as well, R1100S. Lovely, beautiful style, single-sided swing arm. Shaft driven, so you don't have to worry about oiling your chain or anything else, as are most BMWs from this range. And chances are it's been looked after, right? Good toolkit. What am I looking at there? Is that the preload adjustment? Interesting. Does it have factory heated grips? No. I believe if you were going for an RT, an R1100 RT, which is more the Tourer rather than sports Tourer version of this bike, that you would get factory heated grips. Yes, I believe so. 60,000 Ks. Again, these BMWs are bulletproof. They go the distance. Unfortunately, no ABS on this model. It is what it is. It's a 2000. It's a 24-year-old motorcycle now. Runs and rides great. New fuel pump and filter, new battery. Just rolled over 60,000 Ks. Has pack frame, good tyres. Original complete toolkit. Recent 12-month WAF. Current rego until February. These bikes will do heavy Ks and ride great. Cool. That's it. Now, ladies and gents, the main thing is the price! Look at that! Finally, someone who wants to sell a motorcycle. Ladies and gentlemen, well done, thank you, okay? That is an amazing deal for a good bike. A lot of people now are listing their bikes for like $4,000 or $5,000 when they really should be listing them for this price. This is seller bike price, okay? Not sit on the market for months price. Fantastic, well done. That's in Kerikeri and Northland. That is a fantastic deal. Someone should get amongst that. I'm going to add that one to the watch list. That gets the tick from me as a good deal this week. Well done. One quick thing I'll just have a look at is the exhaust system. I am not too sure if that's the stock exhaust or not. I'm sure they would have mentioned it. But let's just have a quick look here, ladies and gentlemen. What did I miss there? That's not what I'm looking for. Ah, sorry. It should be a 1, and it needs an extra 0. Right. Do you have an underslung exhaust as stock standard? It looks to be the case. For some reason, in my mind, I was picturing a side mount exhaust. And I don't know why. Yeah, okay, so it's going to be the factory exhaust. It's got the black with the silver tip. Yeah, factory exhaust, that's fine. Pretty clean looking, not bad. Alright, moving on. Good deal, great deal. V-Strom 650, I talked about this bike earlier this evening. It didn't do it for me. It, you know, you could buy this bike, perfectly livable, does what you need it to do, but it just didn't inspire me. It didn't have the thing that I was looking for, which was the excitement factor. I didn't feel excited riding this motorcycle. It just rode well, and I can't knock it. It's just, it wasn't for me, right? However, these bikes are legendary. Looks like lots of aftermarket accessories, relatively high asking price, maybe mid-range. Not travelled far in the past 2 years. Ready to ride, pack rack, give you helmet top box, center stand, fork brace, side protection bars, bash plate, heated grips. Yeah, I mean, it's a good deal. You're getting all the accessories out of it. Seems to be okay. I mean, if you're going to auction this, I'd maybe starting bids at around about $4,200, and you're going to get some bids on it, and the bike will sell. Anyway, that is all the bikes for this evening we're going to take a look at. Now, before we finish up, let's do a quick recap of our watch list. My goodness! 2 fantastic deals are still outstanding. Just a recap from last week. The Honda CB750 Predator. Now, as it turned out, I was talking about on last episode the need for this one to have a quick shifter. I should have read the damn thing. It has the Honda installed quick shifter, which is even better. You're saving yourself, what, maybe $600? This is still a fantastic bargain if someone is looking for a CB750 Predator. Yes, the bike had been ridden, and ridden well, and ridden hard, but ridden well. But it has some aftermarket accessories that you're not paying the top dollar for, and you're still getting a fantastic motorcycle. Do it. Buy it. And my beautiful VFR 800. Again, still sitting around. I don't think this price is going to budge. As great as this motorcycle is, I'm going to take it off the watch list for now. We'll focus on really good deals and bargains. In my mind, if they dropped the starting price by $1,000, priced around about the V-Strom, maybe slightly higher, so $4,500 rather than $4,200 that I said for the V-Strom, you're probably going to attract some bids. Okay. Keep in mind there are less bikes on the market now than what there were last week. There's a little bit of a slowdown in the market, so who knows? Maybe it means people are buying them. I hope so. I hope you're buying these motorcycles and getting out there and riding them. Cool, but yeah, just to recap, we've added the R1100S this evening because it is a fantastic bargain. Okay, the CB750 Predator is still there. Again, great deal. And I've only added the V-Strom because I estimate this will sell for, what do we say? 4,200? No. Yes? Can't remember. We'll stick with 4,200. I mean, that's how much I'd pay for a V-Strom. Wait, that was 1,000, wasn't it? Maybe a bit more. Leave it anyway. In case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this evening. It has been an absolute blast. I have so much fun doing these videos. This is my happy place, looking at motorcycles and sharing my love and passion with you. Thank you so much for joining. See you next time.